Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. Today, I just want to talk with you, share some general information in hopes that it has some value. If we really looked out, some of us, we think, if we looked out at our society, and that's what we want to look at and focus our attention on right now, and let's assume, because we really don't know exactly, we the people, how many humans are on the earth. It has been suggested somewhere between 7.5 and 8 billion. Well, let's just say, for the purpose of this discussion, that there are about, say, 7 billion. Now, this being the case, based upon our own understanding, based upon what our lives have expressed and taught us over the time that we've been here, and we wanted to use that as a guide to determine what the rest of the world out of these 7 billion people would have been like, we would conclude that at least a billion or more are starving, are just literally starving, struggling, trying to eat anything. A billion human beings, just like you and I. There would probably be another billion in of people who were getting enough to survive, just to be surviving. Then there would be another billion that's living, like we call them, paycheck to paycheck, but living from day to day, making sure that they got something lined up for tomorrow. Then there would be another billion, another billion that wouldn't worry about it too much. They're looking forward to having it. And then there would be a couple of billion. Oh, wait a minute. I got it mixed up. I got it mixed up. There would be a couple of billion at the bottom starving. A couple of billion starving. And between a half billion to a billion that's doing anything they want to do. Now, that's basically a reality. Now, what I'm basically saying is that there are more people on earth that does not have half of the things that they would like to experience in life that they've heard about others experiencing. Over half the population. Now, there's a quarter that probably doing all right. They would be fitting in from making it to doing all right. The point I'm trying to make to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this, is that we all say we want peace. Everybody on earth say they want peace. Some people don't think you can get it, but they want it. And every individual on earth wants to be prosperous, meaning that they can have the ability to engage themselves in the things of life. Nothing to hold them back. They can be free to be who they are, to exercise who they are, to be proud of who they are, to be appreciated for who they are. Freedom to live. And then this that I mentioned so far includes every last one of you. Then every last one of you would want to experience joy. You're here and you want to experience joy in being here, joy in being alive, joy in being no longer spirit, but in a body that you can see here and have the ability to do something that you love doing. If you do anything right now that you love doing, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who aren't, you just out here surviving, trying to make it, don't know what you're gonna do. You know when you see these athletes, and they're good, they're great. Why? Because they love what they're doing. When you see these singers, they're good, they're great. Why? Because they love, and it's natural to them. You got your painters and your dancers, and you got your architects, and you got your designers, and you got your gardeners, and you got your everybody. Everybody. And everybody that's doing what they want to do is having a ball. But the rest of us, or you, wherever, who just doing what you can to make it. You are working and struggling by what they call it? Hustling by the sweat of your brow, following the dictates of something else that you don't want to, but you don't see your way out. Well, you don't want that. You want joy. And having done that, got peace, prosperous, freedom, and joy. And then out of that, your dreams come true. You ever dream? You were a kid. When I get to be big, I'm going to do this. When I get to be grown, I'm going to do this and do that. Well, many of you find out that's a hell of a struggle. But there are a few of you who could do any of that. And you forget how lucky you are, how blessed you are. You are put down people who can't, trying to think that you're superior to them because that's the way you were trained. You don't know any other way. So these are the kinds of things that you put aside. You want your dreams to come true. And then you realize all of those things that you just mentioned, how inconceivable it would be, how difficult it would be if you had to be responsible for every last one of those things yourself, and yet you are responsible. And there's no struggle. It's just a simple act. One simple act that would encompass all of that. And that's an act of love. And what I'm talking about, an act of love. An act of love is realizing that in order to have this freedom, in order to have this peace, and that every last one of you got it, in order for this to happen, you have to realize that none of us are responsible for the resources that are available on this earth for utilization by us to produce that which we have determined is essential for our survival and just for our enjoyment. We, my friends, have nothing to do with those resources. And yet, those resources only exist because we saw in our minds, we learned, we determined what was essential, what was necessary, what we wanted, and we gave of ourselves. And we did it. Who? Those of us who would benefit from it played some part in it. Some of us the part that we played was raising our kids. Some of us, the part that we played was producing food. Some of us, the part that we played was taking care of infrastructure. Some of us, the parts that we played was entertaining. So on and so forth. That's the role that we played. That's the role we played. The biggest problem out of all of that is many of us, and most of us, were in careers that we had no desire to be in. And so recognizing that all of us requires this, recognizing that the resources are a gift, recognizing that we benefit from it, recognizing that we all play a part in it. And the food, clothing, and shelter, and education and health care, that's essentially, these are the most common things necessary for our survival. But now recognizing that rather than each of us, 7 billion of us, having to play an individual role in producing these things for ourselves, kind of seems like a person that's not thinking at all. But thinking and caring, recognize that we can benefit in all of these areas by doing what? One thing. And what is that one thing? That one thing that you love doing. Woo! That's all the rest of us ask of you. That one thing that you love doing. And have yourself a ball. Each of us. Whatever that one thing is, have yourself a ball. And then having a ball with the resources given from an unknown source, nobody is down at the bottom, starving, wondering what they're going to do. When the storms of life come, the floods, the snowstorms, we have already prepared ourselves for these incidentals or disasters as they might be called. Because we were looking ahead, preparing ourselves for any obstacle. Why? Because that's what we got time to do, to live. And in living, we prepare to live graciously. We prepare to do that kind of stuff. But this comes when we say We want everything that we want. And the only way we can get it is providing for each other to assure that each of us get everything that we want. And that means cutting out the line. No need for doing that. You don't just cut it out. You have no need to do it. No stealing. You don't have no need to do that. No crime, no violence. You don't have any need to do that. The only time you have need to do that is when somebody else want to play God. See, there is no God on this throne that of material structure. No, there's no God on the throne of material structure. There might be representatives of you, the people. And whoever on this human structure, if he represents you, the people, if he represents God, it's because the God in you. And when I say the God, I'm talking about love. I'm not talking about anything biblical. I'm talking about love. The same thing we just got through talking about. And if that's in you, then that's what's going to be sitting on the throne, on the physical, material throne. And you can bet who's sitting on the spiritual throne. But if you have been accepting abuse, oppression, destruction, division, if you've been accepting that, then that becomes normal. And when people start talking about true peace, true prosperity, it sounds foreign to you. But the truth of the matter is that it is not supposed to exist. The way the world exists today is not supposed to exist like this. And if there were anybody that was truly led, and I put it this way, I'm going to say something about the scriptures. If there were anybody on earth that were like Jesus Christ, this figure, and I'm just going to say Jesus Christ, I'm going to leave the Muslims out because I don't know too much about him or